everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a tag video, and I saw this over on Angie's channel and I thought the questions were really interesting. It's called the small creator tag, and it kind of digs into why you created a YouTube channel, why you're here, why you do it, and I thought I would give you a little bit more insight into why I'm producing YouTube videos, so I thought I would go ahead and film this tag. The first question is, how many years have you been on YouTube? And I think I'm coming up to 3 years. I think that's right. I put my first video out just before Christmas, I think 3 years ago. What was your first video about? My first video was an introduction because I'd already had my blog that I kind of needed to introduce myself to people in a visual format. So I had to sort of put it out there, like, here's what I sound like as opposed to the voice you hear in your head when you're reading how I type things. So I did a quick little intro video. I had no cuts because I had no idea how to edit a video, and I just threw that intro up. Now, maybe that's not that interesting, but the second video was an empties video, and I'd been saving my empties for a while because I used to put them on the blog and they were so horrible to photograph and type out. It's really boring photographing your garbage, I have to say. Filming it for a video is fine, but photographing it feels like the stupidest thing ever. So I'd saved up my empties and I was like, yes, I can film a video about it now. The third question is, who is your dream collaboration? And I don't actually know if that means collaborating with somebody on YouTube or collaborating with a brand. If it's about creators, I'll say maybe it's with somebody else. I don't actually love collaborations. I think a lot of them feel very forced at times. I've done some collaborations and I've really enjoyed working with those people, but oftentimes it feels like you really like the person's content and they like your content, and you want to like come up with an idea that's going to work for both of you so you can kind of like drive traffic to each other's channels. But it feels a little bit forced in the sense that you're trying to come up with an idea. I much prefer a collaboration where you're filming with somebody in front of the camera together. I feel like that's more personal. It's more, I don't know, you get to feed off the other person. And I have filmed in collaboration with Sam at her place. We did an IMATS haul a few months ago now, and that was a lot of fun. So I really like filming with people, but I don't know if there's necessarily anyone that I have a dream collaboration with. I've teamed up with people before and that's been a good time, but I much prefer filming together in one location as opposed to like just teaming up over a theme. And that does not answer the question at all because I don't really have a person that I would want to specifically collaborate with. Because I also feel too, like if you really like hype a person up in your mind, you have this idea of wanting to collaborate with them, it kind of turns them into a celebrity in your mind. And then I feel like if I were to collaborate with them in person, I'd just be like really awkward about it. So no, there's no one in specific that I want to collab with. Question number 4 is, what would it mean to you to make it on YouTube? And I have, hi buddy, I have an answer for this. I should do. These are all questions and answers. What it meant to me to make it on YouTube was to make enough money so that I didn't have to fund my own purchases out of my paycheck for my regular 9-to-5 job. I just wanted to make enough so that it was like free money to buy my makeup, and I have done that. So really, I've made it on YouTube. I mean, subscriber numbers are fun. The idea of like hitting 10,000 is really cool and I would love to do that. And heck, the idea of getting, you know, like a platinum button, is it platinum for 100,000? Is really cool, but also those numbers are really high up there and I may never achieve them. And that's okay because I've gotten to the point where the AdSense revenue that I make or some of the sponsored posts that I've done on my blog make me enough money that I can just buy the makeup that I want and not really worry about it. So to me, that is making it on YouTube. Question number 5 is, what is your end goal on YouTube? There can't be an end to a goal. That doesn't, on a platform like this, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. You can't really ever end, unless you're planning on quitting when you hit to a certain level, but then why would you want to hit that? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I have no end goal. I just want to do this as long as I'm having fun, and I am, so that's why I keep doing this. What is the hardest part about YouTube? Probably the filming aspect for me. I really like editing. I think that's fun and interesting and all that, but filming for me is definitely the struggle point. I get tongue-tied a lot. You guys don't really see it because I get to cut all that out of my videos, but I oftentimes have to repeat myself 2 to 3 times depending on what I'm saying. But I will cut a lot out just because I'm like fumbling over my words. My thought process doesn't follow like a linear line and it comes to no conclusion. So I often have to re-say what I'm trying to get out in words that I'm thinking in my brain. So that is definitely the hardest part of YouTube for me. Question number 7 is, what is the best part about YouTube? And that is hands down the comments that I get from people. Whether it's a comment on my blog or a comment on my YouTube channel, I just like responding to people and interacting with them. I like to know that my content is being watched and people are responding to it because it validates what I'm doing, number one, but it also gives me something to talk to. Like oh, bye Nemo. I just like interacting with people, and when people leave me a comment, it's the best thing ever. So I always respond to people in the comments. I'm out here putting content, and if you're gonna go ahead and leave me a comment, you're darn right I'm gonna respond to it. So that's the best part about YouTube for me. Question number 8 is, what is the funniest comment you've ever gotten? And honestly, I can't really think of something that's made me laugh out loud. Like, I'm not a comedy channel. People aren't trying to be funny on here when they respond to me. So I can't really think of anything that's been the funniest. But question number 9 is, what is the meanest comment you've ever gotten? And that kind of ties into funniest for me because I don't really get a lot of mean comments, but the comments that I do get that could be considered mean often end up just being like funny to me. So more often than not, for meanest comments, I'll get people saying they don't like my eyebrows. It happens not that frequently, but with enough frequency that I notice it. So it's always somebody who has no profile picture. You can't find an image of them on the internet. They don't really have a handle that you can find like any kind of picture what this person looks like. But these tend to be the people that will comment on my eyebrows. And honestly, my reaction is always like, well, show me a picture of your face then and I can go ahead and critique it. So the mean comments end up being funny to me because they're always from completely anonymous people who just have something to tell you. So yeah, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that mean of a comment. No one is really saying absolutely truly horrific things to me. So yeah, my comments are pretty tame in comparison to what some of like the big YouTubers get. Like I don't know how they deal with like the death threats that they really get. That's just ridiculous. Like, who are you to say that somebody on the internet whose opinion you don't agree with should go die? Like, come on. Anyway, I've gone off on a different tangent now, but I really feel for people who get horrific comments left on their channel from people who are just someone with no face on the internet. Number 10 is, what other subject matter could you create a YouTube channel about? Nothing right now in my life, because there's nothing that I'm as into as I am about makeup. In the past, I could have definitely had a YouTube channel about like Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I was heavily into that in my teens. Maybe a Veronica Mars one, but like those kind of channels don't really seem to exist like fan sites did back in the day. Like a TV show fan site was super common, but I'm not really sure what I would talk about in a video format for the shows that I watched. That's more like a podcast type thing if you're going to be doing like conspiracy theories or something like that. So no, there's nothing really at this point in time that I would create another YouTube channel for. Aside from vlogging, I guess, but that just goes in my main content anyway. So no, nothing else. Question number 11 is, why did you start your YouTube channel? Okay, so I've got 2 answers for this, and I think one might rub people the wrong way, but I'm gonna give you an explanation of it. So the number 1 reason I started it is because I prefer it as a format for talking about makeup. I started the blog originally because I didn't think I had the face for YouTube, or I didn't have like the white background or anything like that, although now I've got the white background in my sunroom. But I didn't originally start it, and I created a blog because it was just easier. I already had a blog before. It was an easy format to do. But over time I realized, well, you really watch a ton of YouTube channels. You should be investing in the format that you prefer. So I ended up creating a YouTube channel because it's my preferred method of communicating with people about makeup. However, one thing that spurred me on that I think might, people might not love is that I had heard Ashley from Makeup TIA, I think that she doesn't post as much as she used to, but she used to put out quite a few videos that I liked. She made a comment one time that if you invest enough time into your YouTube channel, what you make in AdSense will be enough to like cover all of your makeup purchases. And I never really thought about that before because I hadn't really done any sponsored blog posts before then. And I never really thought about the income that you could get via YouTube. And I was like, well, that's really interesting because I'm spending a decent chunk of money on makeup purchases to review on the blog, that it'd be nice to have a little bit of a kickback for all these purchases I'm making. And I'm not saying that I went to YouTube because it was something that I had to make money on or something like that, but it was just very intriguing to me that this was an option. And at the end of the day, what people don't realize is that you don't make a lot on YouTube. I make potentially $20 to $40 per month from AdSense, but if you combine that with some sponsored blog posts that I have done, it usually equates to a few thousand a year, which is more than I need for buying any kind of makeup throughout the month or throughout the year. So combining AdSense with sponsored blog posts has provided me a way of buying my makeup, which ends up being not from my salaried job, which is incredible and very rewarding. And I know some people are doing this as their job, but I don't need that or want that. So I just like the fact that it can fund my makeup purchases, but it's not the primary reason why I came to YouTube. But I think it's worth mentioning because not everyone's aware of it. By the way, the salary that people make on YouTube is not a secret. You're allowed to talk about it. I just don't think you're allowed to talk about what certain ads make in terms of cent value, because you make cents off of YouTube videos. You have to be in the thousands of views before you'll start making even a few dollars. So you're always free to ask me how much I make on YouTube. It's not a big deal to me, but it does make enough that I can buy makeup. Hello, my noms. Question number 12 is, what video are you embarrassed by? I don't think any. None of them that I can really think of are trash. So I don't really think that there's any that I'd pull down. I started off pretty okay on YouTube. I had a ring light, I had a camera, so there's nothing that's really terrible quality or anything like that. If I look back at old videos, like some of my very first few videos, I'm very quiet in front of the camera, which is not very me. What you see now is very me, but back then I was kind of quiet and getting used to talking in front of a camera because it's a strange thing. No one really does this. So those are a little bit awkward, but I mean, that's just evolution of a person, right? So it started off awkward and now I'm me, but there's nothing I'm embarrassed by. Question number 13 is, what video are you the most proud of? I don't have a specific video that I'm particularly proud of other than like a category of videos, and that would be my palette reviews. I spend so much time on those things that I am very proud when they finally go up. They're kind of a pain in the butt to like take photographs for and then film and then edit together. They take absolutely forever, but they are very rewarding because they're always like a good end product. I think it's a good review to give somebody where you can give them swatches, 5 different eye looks, and your thoughts on a palette wrapped into like roughly 15 minutes. I'm always super happy when they go up. I don't always get them up the quickest because it takes a while to do 5 eye looks, especially considering that I do these eye looks before I go to work in the morning. So I have to do these early in the morning, take photos of my face, and then rush off to the office. So I really like those, and they're definitely the ones that I'm the most proud of. And the very last question is number 14, and the question is, what is your first YouTube memory? And I remember a really bad YouTube, I guess it's more than 10 years ago now, where like the pixel quality was atrocious. You were looking at videos that were what, like 320 by 240, and it's this little box and everything's super pixelated. You can't ever really see what anybody's doing. I remember that YouTube, and I remember ignoring YouTube for a very long time because I thought the quality was just terrible. And then I have no idea how I came across her video, but I ended up watching some video of Juicy Star 07 putting on some blue eyeshadow on her eyes, and I could not believe how high quality the video was. I was like, what the heck happened to YouTube? It used to be an absolute trash heap, and now people are actually putting out like HD videos. So I got drawn into the makeup world from there. I used to only use MAC products, and then it suddenly like exploded into every other brand that I had never heard of before. But I think it pretty much started with the Juicy Star 07 video, which in hindsight, she was very young. I don't know why I was watching her because I think I'm about 10 years older than her, but that was definitely like the gateway into the YouTube beauty community for me. I watched for years and years and years before I ever made a channel, but it definitely got me hooked on discovering brands that weren't MAC and finding out about different people who were doing very exciting things with their makeup. So yeah, that's my first few memories of YouTube. All right, so that is it for the tag. That is everything for the small creator tag on YouTube. I'm not going to tag anybody in particular because I have not thought about who I should tag. But if you want to do this, by all means, just film it. I love hearing about people's YouTube stories and kind of their background. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.